used to teach AI models. And if you're a musician, if you're an indie musician, you may have heard about the list from The Atlantic, maybe a few days ago or a week ago. And that's not the only list, though. So that's the thing. And I think a lot of people are starting to finally pay attention to what I've been talking about, in that the company Suno and Udio are currently being sued. They're still embroiled with the with the major labels right now. That I think what the major labels is trying to do is they're trying to find a way to get a cut of the valuation of these companies. Suno especially has been valued at a couple of $billion. Actually, I think it's gone up, maybe like 4 or 5 billion with a B. Okay, billion. Okay, so let's just go back a little bit, I guess, before they came out. Suno and Udio, that is. So they could have, and they probably should have, but they didn't. They could have taught these models ethically on not like on public domain music. They could have hired people. There are a lot of things they could have done. However, this is what they did do so far with the litigation, because I'm already on the class action lawsuit, and I can give you some information about that later. But this is what they did do. They went and scraped the web. So they basically went everywhere there with music and just decided to copy it, scrape it, and use that to teach their models how to output music. Okay, and they claimed that they were doing it and calling it fair use because it was teaching the robots how to make music. That's their that's I'm laughing because it's like that's not what fair use is for, y'all. So that's what they were claiming. So they were like, well, it's fair use. And so far, a lot of the rigmarole that's happening right now is a matter of who's going to get money, who's not going to get money. Like I said, the majors, I've done videos on this. So between Warner Brothers and Universal, Sony is not a part of this. And I think I have a reason. From what I remember, they're actually coming up with some software to detect AI or their music being used. So I'm kind of waiting and seeing on what they're trying to do. So, but Warner Brothers and Universal, they have been back and forth with these companies, trying to find a way basically to get paid, because I would say in the last maybe 10 years or so, record labels have not been making as much money as they would like to be making. Okay? And with the death of Mr. Clive Davis, we can talk about that later too. It's like they have lost a lot of their business models. They've basically want the talent to find themselves. There's no more A&R. They want the talent to find themselves, market themselves, bring the fans. So all they have to do is swoop in, these record labels, and sign you to a predatory contract and keep you on a leash, basically. Okay? So, but when it came to this AI music, Suno and Udio situation, they're trying to figure out how can Universal and Warner Brothers get a cut of this $4 or $5 billion valuation that they think that these companies are worth. Now that's all well and good, I guess, when it comes to the majors, because they're going to take care of their own. Now the indies, people who are unsigned, they scraped us too. Okay, they scraped us as well. And so that's why a few months ago I went ahead and signed up to be a part of the class action lawsuit that Crystal Delgado, I think that's her name, her full name, attorney at law. Her law firm is filing a class action lawsuit against these companies to run us our coins because they scraped us as well. Okay, so the majors, they're going to take care of themselves or whatever. I don't know if they're going to take care of their artists, but they will be taking care of themselves some kind of way. But when it comes to independent, recording artists and performers who our stuff is out there too, that they scraped as well. I have releases since 2000. Let's see, my debut was in 2008, and then I had another in 2010. So yeah, so I've got stuff out there, and they definitely, the list that the Atlantic put out, that's not all of the list. See, that's the thing. That's the list that they got so far. And so with the class action lawsuit, with and her handle on YouTube and in social media is Top Music Attorney. There are other lists. So what she is doing is looking for the list that Suno used and Udio used. So the list that the Atlantic put out or is putting out, that's not the full list. There are other lists. Okay? So even if you typed yourself in and you didn't see yourself, or maybe you saw maybe a couple of, that's not all of the lists. Okay? Because the Suno tech bros, they were sneaky. And they knew what they were doing was illegal. They were just trying to find a loophole way to get away with it. But it's just a matter of time for them to be caught. So let me see if I can pull up the attorney so I can make sure I'm saying this correctly. But yeah, when I found out about this, because I care very much about my copyright ownership and all of this stuff, I'm not necessarily I don't know. As you can see, my handle is Nerd Queen. I live a quiet life. I make music. Yes, I make money making music, and I don't like the idea of people pirating my work. Okay, so let's see if I can pull up the law firm. I think as of last week, there are other law firms now. Oh my goodness! See. And the very first thing that pops up is some of this AI garbage music. One second, I'm trying to pull up something here. So, and that's what they're doing with it. It's like, I will say this, I'm glad YouTube is getting rid of a lot of those channels, because that's what happened a lot when Suno came out, and it was like, oh, you can make songs and all this other stuff. And next thing you know, you got all these trash channels of like pretending like Lost Blues from so and so. It's Suno. It's a garbage trash channel. Okay. All right. So let me type this in. And I'm gonna show you on my other phone. Oh wow. She is, okay. So this is the channel. I don't know if you can see it very well. Top Music Attorney. I might have to put it in my description, but I can also send you to maybe, we're all friends here. Listen, there's plenty. The thing is, we live sadly in a capitalist type world, but it doesn't mean we have to continue to live in a capitalist world. just because I'm a singer-songwriter doesn't mean I'm competing with all the other singer-songwriters. Everybody's got a flavor for themselves. Like, my music might not be your cup of tea, but somebody else might like what I do. So I'm not trying, as I say, gatekeep. So you can go to topmusicattorney.com, and let's see if there's anything else. So DelgadoEntertainmentLaw.com. She has that as well. There is a phone number. I'm not going to say it on here, but if you are interested, you need to go ahead and get on this. Okay? She's also a performer. She does like dark pop rock music. Think Evanescence. Okay? A little bit, but not as energetic, if that makes sense. It's more brooding, a little more brooding. Okay, so yeah, the Delgado Entertainment Law, and you definitely need to protect yourself. This is what I'm also doing, because I am trying to put together my songbook of songs and make sure I have complete control of my own publishing. And I think everybody who is a songwriter, everybody who is a musician that has created music for themselves, you need to own your own publishing. The end, period, dot. Nobody else. And I know that it sounds like, oh, it's so hard. I don't think it's as hard as people try to get. Like, I will never. I'm going to tell you something. The only reason why I'm on streaming is because I just told you when I released music in like 2008 and stuff. When it was just starting, over the years, I would never put any new music on streaming. Never. Because I'm not going to sit here and beg somebody to listen to my music for a sliver of a penny. When I'm out in the real world, by the way, I don't want to show you my guitar, but I'm a performing musician. I'm not going to sit here and let you just, use me and abuse me. So if any new music will not be on any of streaming. And if it is, it's going to be for advertising purposes only. I am on Bandcamp, though, so I'm going to tell you that. And I support Bandcamp, again, since the beginning of Bandcamp. And I'm loving how Bandcamp in the last few months went out and said, listen, we don't support AI music either. If anybody posts anything that's AI on this platform, report them. And I will. If I hear it, I'm reporting. Okay? Because I work too hard to learn how to play an instrument, learn how to songwrite, practice my craft, go to a gig for somebody to go steal my music. I'm not having it. So I'm glad more people are aware of what's going on now. But I definitely need y'all to go ahead and get on that class action lawsuit. Billions of dollars. Okay? These record companies, they're going to get their money and, whatever. But independent people, folks like you and me, working class musicians and artists, we need our money too. And it's not fair that somebody claims that they had fair use to basically take your stuff and teach a robot to regurgitate it out to you. Okay? It's not okay. It's not. Okay, and I'm noticing, since I am doing this as a live stream, and put my glasses on because I didn't want the glare. But let me see what y'all are saying. Not saying much. But like I said, seriously, Delgado Entertainment Law. Okay, and stay in the loop of what's going on. And then, like I said, I'm also working on ways to keep people from stealing from me as a musician. So I'm preparing maybe some pamphlets and things like that for folks. So if you're interested, go ahead and like and subscribe and all that great stuff. And because I'm always about that life. It's DIY forever. I'm never getting signed. I sign myself, and that includes my publishing as well. Okay, with that, I'm gonna say Take care. And oh, also my band. I'm a solo artist. I'm also in a band. Our band is putting together a documentary. It's never too late to be a musician. It's never too late to be creative. It's never too late. Okay? I'm just saying. All right, take care. Bye.